Good to see everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, January the 8th of the Speaker Hub co-working. Good to see everybody. Victor, good to see you back. Kevin, Leroy, Michelle, Janessa, Victoria, nice to meet you. Good to see you here the first time. I am Ron Story. I am the head of product at Speaker Hub, and I am joined today by Angela, who is over operations, and Juliana, who is over marketing and communications, and a lot of other stuff that she creeps her way into sometimes. She always in stuff that she has her fingerprints over a lot of the different things over in the business, from designing the apps to the frameworks that we talk about here, along with Maria, to organizing things. So she's kind of our Swiss Army knife. Her and Carlos over. She's the the emotional. How do you put it? She's kind of our emotional Swiss Army knife, and Carlos is our technical Swiss Army knife. Carlos don't really talk about much, but Juliana has a perspective on everything. So everything that you all experience at Speaker Hub is influenced by these two women, and I'm glad to have them on our team. They make this thing work. Whenever you get an email, it comes from Juliana. She has permission to write in my voice. So all of our communications that you receive are usually designed by her, which is good. So what we're going to do today is what we normally do, which is talk about how to get you all booked on more stages. If you have any questions for me on how to do that, or questions for Angela and how she makes this machine run of ours, or how to write your own emails if you're building your own email stuff or designing your speaker website. I'll let Juliana introduce herself so that she can tell you why she's even on our team and why it's important for her perspective. So Juliana, you want to start us off and just kind of give people your historic background and the experience that you have and why you are with Speaker Hub?
Sure, with pleasure. So basically, my career has been built around helping speakers. So previously, I worked with a professional speaker who is Jeff Butler, and we helped him with basically anything marketing, from website to communications. And we also worked in an agency side to side with Jeff, helping other speakers grow their careers. And now with SpeakerHUB, it's exactly the same, but scaling up. So yeah, it's basically helping out speakers with their marketing and anything that is driving event planners and decision makers get to know them, and at the same time how they can reach out to those decision makers and event planners so they can get booked and grow their careers. So that's basically my job, from design to copywriting to even consultation to help out speakers on that end.
Yep. So she's probably has the most experience of designing speaker inbound generating websites of anybody on our team. So that's what she did. She was responsible for those lead generating pages that a speaker would put up for themselves. So we've promised to bring you all the best people and to make our team available to you all in different forms and fashion. So welcome, Juliana. I see Yvette. Good to see you again. And Victoria, if you want to introduce yourself, we usually kind of go through a ritual of people in their first time coming up and explaining what they do so that we can help you all. I think, oh no, this is Yvette's first time too. Her and I have met privately, but this is her first time on the co-working call. So we like to let you introduce yourself so that others in our community can help you if there's an opportunity down the road. So if Victoria or Yvette wants to do a quick introduction, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Victoria. I'm multitasking and having lunch at the same time. Thank you for having me. I am here joining Michelle, that's supporting Miss Ann. So I'm here a part of that MCO construction team. So thank you for having me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Yvette, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ron. So my name is Yvette Pegues. I had been using SpeakerHub prior to Ron's magic hands touching it, and our private meeting just absolutely blew my mind, and he invited me to jump in on this call. My organization is called Your Invisible Disability Group. It was created to support newly disabled and diagnosed persons, their families, and their medical care team as a result of my suffering a traumatic brain and spinal cord injury right in the middle of my engineering career at IBM. What we're able to help individuals do is to connect to resources that are out there and available, but very hard to find. As a result of doing that for several years, I got called into a lot of corporate organizations and was able to leverage a lot of corporate relationships to speak at Fortune 500 and 1000s about intentional inclusion. So DEI usually does not intentionally include people with disabilities, but it's the largest people group in the country. 61 million Americans have disabilities, and it's an $8 trillion industry. So I studied my, my community and how to bring that to organizations. And so much like I spoke with Ron about, I believed that speaking on stages was the only way to create an income that even came close to what I was making as an engineer. But I've learned now that there are so many other things that I could be doing that I'm, already touching upon. So I'm happy to be on this call to learn from each of you and to continue to grow my work and ministry.
No, it's a big deal, huge deal. I think we spent maybe 2 hours last week going over different things, and she sent me a message. She says, "Can I join your call?" I'm like, "Of course, come on in. You can invite other people. This is a party, you know." So good to have you, Yvette. I'm glad you're able to hop in today. Before we get started, any questions or support issues? Anything anyone needs help with as we get started? And good to see you, Jasmine. Good to see you also, Bart. It's always great. Jadika with hair wrap number 733 today. It's always good to see Jadika. Victor, good to see you here too. And what's up?
I have a question regarding, you talked yesterday about the offer, and my question is, what do you think is one of the best ways, whether it's a QR code, sending people to a website, Talkadot, or any other ideas that you have that might be a good way to put people in the bottom of that funnel?
Yep. So I'm going to bring that up. So let's talk about that. That's a great
Thank
question here, right? So let me bring up my page here, and I want to go to our product mix page. I think that's here, right? So, and when we think about what we do, so we focus in on this product mix thing. Let me zoom in a bit so everyone can see it. I gotta make my words larger, I think. Just make this bigger. Right? So if we think about this modalities,
Hey,
depending
Ron,
on
it's
which
showing
type of
Ron, it's showing a blank page.
okay, let me try
It's
it
showing
again.
an incognito tab.
Thank you. 1 second. Is this here now?
There it is.
Okay. So when you think about your modalities, where you're speaking and what you're going to be talking about, each modality will have a different way for you to make your call to action. So if you're on a podcast and the person's listening on their phone, the QR code wouldn't work. So using Speaker QR or Talkadot, that particular QR code, because they can't see it, it wouldn't work. Does that make sense? Right? So you can't show a visual thing in an audio message. But how do you do that? What you do is in every podcast, so there's always going to be show notes. So let me go to a podcast, eofire.com. And when we go over here to John's thing and we pick a podcast episode like this one here, let's see if I can open up his podcast. So you see he has the podcast here, the one for today, and he has show notes. This is the guest resource. You see how he has that guest resource that the person is giving him, which is the book? You see that there? This is how it works on a podcast when there's no visual. You have to do the job of teaching the host how to present you to his audience. So it's in his best interest to get your resource to the listener also. A lot of times they're inexperienced podcasters, they just don't know, right? So you say, hey, here's the resource link that you can put in the show notes. So that's what this one is. This guy wrote this book called Shoveling SHIT, and he gave John the download link here. Does that make sense? So that's how you can do it on a non-visual stage, right? But in that recording, you also have to make the reference to remind him. So let me give you the example. In the beginning of your interview, or while you're going through your interview, you say, hey guys, I'm going to give you, actually, if you bring up, say, a checklist, right? In the show notes, I'll have Ann to link to the checklist where you can just download it. You see how I just mentioned that while I'm on the podcast? So then it kind of prompts them to put in the show notes too. And then when whoever's listening to it, if they look in the notes and they don't find it, guess what they're going to do? Hey, Ann, Ron said you was going to put this in the notes. I didn't see it there, right? So it's these little micro prompts that I use in order to, put my link, you'll see my LinkedIn in the show notes. And people are like, oh, okay, well, I'll just look down there. Or they'll go look me up on LinkedIn. So if this is non-visual modality, meaning it's only audio, which means you have to give them the audio instructions in your call to action, along with giving the host the link that you need. Is that fair? For audio. In video, I'm gonna have Ange demonstrate a cheat code that you can do in video. Ange, can you put up your SpeakerHUB background? Or your PitchDB background, right? Ange has if she's doing Zoom, she has this, right? You see that background she had made? Angela Lewis, head of operations, SpeakerHUB. You know what she can put right next to the SpeakerHUB thing? Her QR code. So that if someone's watching it on YouTube, they can either take a screenshot with their phone, or they can just point it at their monitor like I'm doing and go and get the resource right off of YouTube. It's a billboard. All this crap in the back is a billboard. I should charge these artists for putting their art up in my background, right? But it's a billboard that you have that's always there. So you can put that QR code, whether it's from TalkDot, Speaker Score, Speaker QR, they all do the same thing. Put your QR code. Don't go buy nothing extra. If you're already using TalkDot, use it. Aurel's a good friend. I support his product. I want him to win. Put your TalkDot code right over there. Huh?
You have to share her screen. We can't see hers.
Y'all can't see Ange? Background, it's her background behind her photo. You can't see that? Let me spotlight her.
Thank you. Thank you. Now.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
So
see it now, spotlight. Yes.
You see how she put her email there and her name? I would actually not do that. I wouldn't put the name, even though she did, because she can put Angela from SpeakerHUB in the Zoom. Do you see that? Like down at the bottom, she has Angela from SpeakerHUB. So I would put my QR code over here on this left side. Put your TalkDot QR code, your Speaker QR code over there on the left side where she has Angela Lewis, and then your company logo. I'm sure Victor would add to this. Victor's a branding specialist. He understands the power of getting your brand in front of people. So you got this real estate that's being wasted on those visual opportunities. Does that make sense? So
yes.
If you're on something that's visual, use that real estate for your QR code. If it's a visual podcast or a virtual meeting. So we've covered audio only. We've covered video, right? In both of those, you can tell them to put the link in the YouTube bio or the podcast notes. The link that goes to your QR code. TalkDot has a link that they give you for your QR code, just like we have a link that we give you with Speaker QR. So any questions about audio and video? because then we're going to go to live and I'll explain live. So, Arain, go ahead.
Well, not so much a question, but a suggestion for the audio piece. If you can purchase a very, very short domain that's going to point to what you want to give away, something short that you could say verbally, because let's be real, not everyone is going to go read the show notes, even if you tell them to, but you can say something. If it's just quick, like let's say, for example, Ron talking on the audio podcast, he buys the domain Ron Giveaway. Hey guys, I instead of writing this down here, just go to rongiveaway.com and you can grab the free checklist that I'm talking about. So that's another tidbit to suggest.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Now, I'm going to take that a step further. Let's say I'm a firm believer that if you go on a podcast, the reviews for the podcast are cool, but they don't really benefit you. You want the review of your performance. Does that make sense? Erica, good to see you. You want the review of your performance. So what I would do is I would go and get ronsreviews.com or rainsreviews.com, right? And redirect that to my talker.link link or to my speaker QR link. So now when they type in Ron's review, it automatically, they ain't got to remember pro.speakerhub.com/Ron was on this podcast, all this other crap. It'll just automatically go. And then guess what? They get to see all of my other reviews, right? They get to see what everybody else like. This dude got 400 positive reviews. Am I going to be the first one that's going to give him a 1-star? That peer pressure is hard. I want them to be pressured into giving me a good review too, because I want them to know that their feeling isn't alone. Everybody thinks that I'm good, or most of my audience thinks that I'm good. So, Janika, what's your question? But great suggestion, Arain. Get a simple domain, but easily you can just put the domain down at the bottom or send them to your current website. Really quick before we go to Janika, if you don't own your name, you're losing. BartWomack.com, ArainWilliams.com, AJVasser.com, KevinHempstead.com, MichelleMazer.com, YvettePeguis.com, EricaShoemate.com. Go get it. Okay. Right? Go get it. You know,
Hey, Ron,
RonStory.com, Ron Story Jr., Ronald Story Jr., Ronald J. Story Jr. I own 19. I wish somebody would try to come and take my name. Right? So, Janika, what's up?
my question, you know me, it's always going to be about the technical side. How do you create, where do you go to create the technical side to get that billboard that like Angela has behind her, you know?
Okay, all right. So let's show you an easy way to do that. You ready?
Yes.
So I'm gonna share my screen here. And I'm gonna go to a free tool that everyone can use called Canva. Right? And in Canva, I'm gonna click on presentation.
Okay.
Right? And then right on presentation, let's say, for instance, I want to import some of the stuff that I've uploaded. Right? So let's see, what do I have here? I should have some uploads, right? So let's say I want to make my background the Pro Speaker Summit logo. And I'm going to change the background of my entire thing to be SpeakerHUB blue. You see, all I did was upload that, and now I got that in the corner.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
I'm going to go to share, and I'm going to go to download. And I want to download this as a JPEG or PNG. Those are photos.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to download that one, mine as a PNG. Boom. Ready?
Okay.
So now I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to click on my video. You see the audio and the video in the bottom left corner of your, where you can mute yourself. When you go there, it says adjust background and effects.
Right.
I click on there and it says, which background do you want to use, right? And what I can do is I can upload my own virtual background.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense? So let me see if I can do it without breaking this thing. 1 second. Give me 1 moment. If you know how to do this a lot better, someone else can help me. But there's
I
a
think
thing
she
that says,
but I think she wants exactly what Angela got. That's what she wants. Look,
oh, if she want to advertise for Speaker, we'll make one for all of y'all.
I mean, like how you got what she means, like with the QR code, like her name.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
But the basics is this. You see how we got this up here now? That's what I just made.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, the issue is that I got my thing that says mirror my video, so it makes it look backwards. But when I click that, now it's the way it is. You see that?
Okay. Okay. And you don't need a green screen.
Nope, I ain't got no green screen.
Okay. That's what I'm asking, like, how you put together without a green screen. Okay.
There it is. It's right in
Okay.
Zoom.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to the moon.
That's what I needed. Okay.
I'm going to
Thank you.
California. It's the same thing you already doing.
Yeah, but like, it has those, the bleariness on some screens.
But that's okay.
Gotcha.
You're
Okay.
already
No
using it.
problem.
You're using a virtual background now. We just got to get you one that's you. That's your stuff.
Exactly. Okay. I got it now. I got it.
Got it?
Thank you.
Cool. No, that's what we do. So we covered audio and video. Before I go into live and how you use it in live, I want Erica. I never met Erica before. She's new. This is her first time here with us. Let's let Erica introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Erica Shoemate, and I'm not sure. Is that enough? No, I'm just kidding. I'm in the Washington D.C. metro, specifically Alexandria, Virginia. And yeah, my first time here, I just realized like, oh, 12 Eastern. I would love to join. I was trying to figure out how to do pitching, like officially to conferences using Speaker Hub Pro. So that's actually what led me here today.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to walk you through that. We cover that every week. We will every day, basically, we go over the speaker profile and how to get booked more. But yeah, so stick around. We're going to walk through all of that. What we're demonstrating right now is when you get booked using SpeakerHUB Pro, whatever method, how do you turn that into leads?
Okay, yes, I need this. I'm speaking at the end of the month. I need this.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the worst thing in the world is to go perform and not get paid, right? So you can get money isn't the only form of currency. You can get paid through leads, you can get paid through attention, you can get paid through status, you can get paid through money, you can get paid in sandwiches. That's how, comedians used to get paid with chicken sandwiches, right? So you can get paid. I think Lethea said one of her first speaking gigs, she got paid with a 2-piece Popeye's chicken dinner, right? But she was happy because she took the food, right? But we want to show you how on audio, if it's going to be an audio only podcast, be sure to mention your call to action very strongly and give people a simple instruction. And then also give the podcast host the information to put in the show notes. On video, it's your responsibility to have your stuff in the background and ready to go, that you're visually appealing and you're on brand. There's a great great interview we did with Robert Kennedy III, who talked about video branding for the Pro Speaker Summit. That was his topic on how do you look good on video. If you go watch Robert, he got all these tips and tricks. He got little men that run across the screen and dance. And whenever he say something funny, he got a guy that comes up, Morgan Freeman, laughing. He's figured out this video presentation thing. And he shows you how to do it in the free Pro Speaker Summit. You see how I'm doing a call to action? I'm demonstrating what I'm telling you all to do. I'm showing you the call to action. I'm advertising where you can go find the thing, the resource, which is Robert's presentation, right? Someone named Angela is going to put a link to that in the show notes in about 30 seconds, right? Because that's what she's here for, right? This is how it works. Does that make sense? So we got audio and video. But how do you do this on stage? So there's a couple ways to do it on stage. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you. In most of our presentations, whenever we're doing something live, if I were to pull up the speaker launch formula presentation that we did recently, one of the things that I could do is if I was teaching this live, What's the number one request you get as a speaker if you're speaking live and you got some dope slides? You see people in the background at your thing like this the whole time. They stealing your slides. They, oh man, that's a good point. They taking photos, right? But what are you gonna do? One of the cool things you do, you can say, you can give them a call to action at the beginning or during your speech, right? And you can say, hey guys, I know I'm gonna do a great presentation on how you can launch your speaker business. At any point in time, there's a QR code here where you can download the slides, right? So let me just show you how you do it and what it should look like. I'm gonna go into my pro.speakerhub account. In my SpeakerHub Pro account, when we click on leads, or you can click on your name, there's two ways to get to it. Speaker QR is over here, and you can create your own QR code. So I'm going to create the QR code called Daily Call, right? Daily Call, and the event name is January 8th, right? And because I'm using purple in the background in my thing here, I'm going to use that same purple on my thing, right? And then my download resource is going to be, let me get something over here. What's my document here? This is going to be my download for y'all, right? So now when I come in here, I put my download there. You see that? And how to set this up? Erica, you see it? All right. This is included in your SpeakerHub Pro account for free. At the end of it, if I know I'm on a podcast, because I can do unlimited of these, I can do one for each podcast I go on or whatever. So I can put in a video. Right now, mine is on the default video, which means that at the end of, once they complete my survey and download the thing, it's just going to show a SpeakerHub video saying, hey, do you want to be a speaker too? But I can click that off and put my own video in there. Or I say, hey guys, thanks for hearing me on the Erica Shoemate Show. The resource that I promised you is right below. Click the link to download it, right? And that video shows. So let me go pick a random video off of here. Let me just go to YouTube and I'm gonna pick a random video so you can see we can show any video there. So we're gonna pick Maduro, right? Oh, that's Petro or Maduro. I don't know. It's one of somebody's president, right? But just to let you know, it ain't my video. Right? So now we have this daily call. When I click view, I get the link. So if I want to get that link for the show notes, there's the link right there, guys. You see that? But also, I want you all to try it. Take out your phone, shine it at the screen, go to photos, and then it's going to ask you to tap, just like you do the menus at your restaurant when you go eat. Right? When it comes up, it should ask you, how was Ron's, well, let me turn off my green screen. Just background, I don't want none, okay. Right, so now it should say, how was Ron's presentation? Y'all see that?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and fill that out, right? So when we go ahead and we fill that out, which I'm just gonna put the link so we can show you that you don't need the QR code. The link is going to work anyway. So I'll put Ron Story Jr., give myself 5 stars, and keep break dancing and eating tacos, right? So I go ahead and I submit that, and it brings me to their video. And guess who's there? My welcome video from Petro, the Colombian president. Right? Now, so you can put your own YouTube video in there to welcome people. Hey, thanks for seeing me on the Ann McNeil Show. I got the resources right down below. You see it says claim reward. That reward could be a download of a book or whatever. It could be whatever you promised them. When I click there, it brings me over to the worksheet that I put in there. You can do unlimited of these. So if you go on 50 podcasts, you should have 50 QR codes. Why? Because you want to personally thank everybody who saw you on that show. You don't want this generic thing. AI is generic. You aren't. Real intelligence. We're going to use natural intelligence to show, or what they call it, emotional intelligence, right? We're going to show that we are better than AI at this. So now when I go back into my SpeakerHub page, let me see how many people filled it out. So now I can see 8 people did the daily call. And I got AJ Vassar, no comment. Got my Keep Breakdancing. Ron was awesome. Keep Breakdancing for Bart, same thing, right? You see that? All of it is there, right? But what do I do with those? I'm wasting time if I got to download them and move them around. I come right over here. There's Erica. I can see her comment right there. I can reply to her right in my SpeakerHub Pro. I click pitch. The AI is going to read her comment, look at her star rating, and write a personalized thank you letter to Erica from me right now.
This is awesome.
Does this make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks, Jasmine. I think so. I don't know what's happening with OpenAI, but they're not working very well right now.
This totally takes all the guesswork out and expedites follow-up, which is my weakness.
Yep. So let
Follow-up
me see
question.
what's happening with Goofy OpenAI. Let's see if we can get them to actually write the email. Because what I want to show you is that the AI actually reads the email. I mean, it reads the comment and writes the comment for it. There it is, right? So here's the email. Hey, Erica, thank you for taking the time to evaluate my presentation and for your kind feedback. I'm thrilled to hear that you found it very engaging and informative. It's always gratifying to know that my efforts resonate well with my audience. Your 5-star rating is truly appreciated. I'm eager to explore opportunities. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I'm like, dude, I ain't about to write all that. And I was being silly that day on that podcast. So I want to write something shorter and more personable versus this boxed up presidential speech, right? So now I can write a more funny type of response, right? And then we'll get to, and I just want to kind of show you this. For some reason, OpenAI is probably overloaded with CES coming on this week. They always be introducing new features that slow us down. But Ed, while this is writing, what's your question? Are we
Yes.
clear on the audio, the video?
Yes, yes, and the stage. So now the next question is regarding the CRM. In your platform, will this information be placed in my CRM, or do I need to go to Go High Level or one of those other CRMs?
Okay. So we'll show you how you can have this automatically added to your CRM, right?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. So there it is right there. There's the shorter one. Thanks a ton for the 5-star review. Very engaging, informative, you say. I'm blushing more than a tomato at a comedy club, right? It's cheesy, but at least give me something to say back to somebody, right? So there it is. That was my response to the review that I got. You want these reviews, guys. It's okay if they review the podcast, but that's their podcast. You need the reviews of your stuff, of your speech. Is your podcast interview any less impactful than if you spoke live and in person? No. It actually can be more impactful because it's longer and it's more personable and the person's interviewing you. So those reviews are super duper duper important, right? Now, why is that important? Because when I click over here, guess what I get to show off? All of my reviews when our 8,000 organizers start coming in and looking for your behind. Right? You see this? This is huge. This will eventually be on your external profile. They got to choose between Ron with 6 reviews and Jasmine with 66. They're going to pick Jasmine. Got it? So let's go to Ann's next question, which is how do you get this information over into your CRM? When you click on settings, there's a button here that says emails. Down at the bottom, there's a thing that we call BCC, CC, and reply to. What you can do is put in your go high level or whatever. They usually will give you something called Power BCC, right? And I'm just going to type in BCC to, let's see, add contact via BCC to DHL, right? Add a contact via BCC to go high level, you do this. Does that make sense? So we can show you, they will give you the email address that you need to use so that every email that's sent from us, that person is added to your go high level. It works with every CRM. So people ask, well, why don't we integrate with, dude, we got the master thing that everybody's using. We'll just use that. That way we don't have to say we don't have your CRM. Every CRM has this function. Is this fair?
Yes.
Right? So, but that's how it is. How to BCC, create contacts from Outlook, automatic BCC sync. Right? So that's what that is. They'll give you the automatic BCC from that perspective. So we should have addressed 3 stages, virtual stages where it's audio only. That comes down strongly to your call to action and your prepping the person who's interviewing you what to put. These things, they compound on top of each other. When you do video, you still got to have a strong call to action. You still want your link in the show notes, but now you can add the visual presentation. Does that make sense? In your virtual background or when you're sharing the screen, put it on there, right? If you're live, strong call to action to tell them to download your QR code. Put that QR code on every slide. You don't know when they're going to pull that up. Put it in the bottom on every slide. They can zoom in. They know how to, you know how to stretch your camera to make it zoom. They'll zoom in on that QR code and they'll make it work. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes, thank you.
At the end, put up your last slide. After you put the QR code on the one slide, at the end, your thank you, right? You know how you do thank you. This is the end of my presentation. Put that QR code really big at the end, right? Give me your feedback. Thank you. Ann McNeil, boom, big old QR code. That's your last slide of every presentation you do. Got it? Is this helpful?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other questions before I do my little 10-minute TED talk? And we, because this
Melissa
is
has
like,
a question.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Ron. I would like to train a VA to use SpeakerHUB to pitch and send follow-ups for me. But after a month of using it, I have some concerns about a couple of things. First is how to train them to be as discerning as I am in editing the messages. And I've been taking notes. I've been putting a doc together and taking notes on, as I come across like, oh, well, here's another phrase or something that like, I don't like the way this phrase is, I want to make sure that I put this down. But, every so often the AI comes up with, yet another way of putting things that like, I would never say it that way. And it just sounds really cheesy or something like that. I'm seeing people nodding their heads that they recognize. And then the second thing is how to make sure that they don't send a follow-up to a contact who's replied. So I mean, I go in as soon as I get notice, oh, here's somebody who's replied, and I'll go into SpeakerHUB. But, maybe if that doesn't happen soon enough and the VA sends a follow-up after somebody's replied, I don't want that to happen and have somebody go like, well, I already sent you a reply. Why are you sending a follow-up? I don't want that to happen.
Yep. No, I totally understand both ideas. The first one is your VA or your staff is always welcome to join these calls, right? This isn't just for the person who's paying for it. We have Janessa, Michelle, and Victoria that are on Ann's team that are on this call every day, even when Ann's traveling and she can't join. So anybody on your team is available to come to these calls. Even non-SpeakerHUB users can come to this call and learn how to use our competition stuff. I don't care. I just need to get more people on stage. So from that perspective, we're here to help and walk them through whatever they need. If they need a private call with me or Juliana or Raymar, Angela, someone on our team, Raquel, we have no problem with hopping on a private call to answer their private questions. So that should address the first part about how to, make sure that they're pitching. As far as being able to write in your voice, I don't think we can ever solve that. I think that's something that we will try to get better at over time. But the more pitches you send, we will have that data to be able to update your pitch voice down the road. That's something that we're looking at. Carlos and I are working on for April or May of this year, where we can take your pool of pitches that have been sent, look at those emails and create your own voice from there. The issue is that we can't do that from the beginning when someone hasn't pitched. I know you're pitching and you're actively pitching and doing well, but someone with a blank data set, we have no voice to know how they want their pitches written. Does that address concern number one?
Yeah, to some degree, yeah. I mean, I've sent over, I don't know, 400 pitches, 400
Right.
something.
Yeah, exactly. So over time, one of the things we're building is we'll be able to take those 400 pitches and look at how you've written them, and then the AI will learn.
Yeah.
Right. But right now, the basics of the AI is we just got to get people pitching. So we're optimizing towards getting the pitching going, taking that data set, right, and using that going forward. Another thing is, in reality, you can send the base, try out all the personalities. There's a lot of different voices that you can pick. So you may not want it to be funny. One of the words that we get complained about all the time is, I'm keen to your podcast. I know we don't use keen, but you can change the voice to remove that keen part out. There's not much we can do about that because OpenAI is doing their own thing, right? But we can change the voice so that it doesn't use a word like keen, right? So what are the ideas? She's not on here. Ange, can you make a note to that we should create a prompt of word exclusions? So in the branding kit, we should be able to put in like a list of words we want excluded.
That'd
So
be
then
great.
when it's writing the prompt, it could exclude those words. I think that may be the solution. But can you just make a note and Carlos and I can discuss that?
And hey, Ron, one quick thought as Melissa was talking to, like, until you get the technology perfect, as someone who's like writing and changing voices all the time, one thought is with your virtual assistant, Melissa, was if you know, like, there are certain things like about you that you like, that is me, working with the virtual assistant, be like, these are kind of like, generally speaking, what you gonna get from me. Because sometimes you just gotta bring people to the water. Technology is great, but that way she understands this is what you are, generally looking for. Until that technology is able to be optimized. I know I've had to do similar work as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting together like a protocol. So, like, for example, so many of the emails start with, I hope this email finds you well, or something like that. And that's one of mine. Like, I cannot stand that. So I have a list of ways to start emails. Like, one of them is like, I hope your week is off to a fantastic start, or I hope, I hope you're having a great Friday, or, like, I have a list of those to substitute in instead of that, because I hate that. Like, I would never start an email that way. And other things like to always create a contraction. So I would never say I am. I would always say I'm, because it sounds so false. It's not my voice to say I am. I would always, I am excited or whatever. I would always use the contraction. I would always say I apostrophe am instead of I.
Got it. Yep.
So I'm creating like a I don't know what you call it, like a protocol set of guidelines or whatever.
Like your copy, basically, like almost
Right.
like these are like, yeah, some copy
And
templates or whatever that you are.
Right.
The great thing about what we're doing is that a lot of these things are protocols that have to be created with or without SpeakerHub. You got to train your VA whether you have our tool or not, right? So I want to make sure that something that is standard training that we have to do anyway doesn't become a fault of what we're trying to simplify, right? So we got to train our staff because they have natural intelligence and we still got to train them. Even though we have something that's artificially intelligent, we have to train that. What we're trying to do is to make it easier and over time learn what those behaviors are based on what we've seen you send out. I send a one sentence email that most people on here would dread sending, right? But I am probably the best pitcher on this call. And I send a one sentence email with confidence, okay? Like with just, I'm sending it, you rolling with me or not, right? Now, for some people, that's not going to work. But we have 63,000 personalities that we have to make something that's generic that works for the majority of that bell curve. And then it's up to you guys to train and personalize that shortcake to make it sweeter and to fit. The minute that we make it perfect for Melissa, I'm going to get a call from Jasmine saying, I wouldn't say what Melissa said. I use contractions. And then Kevin's going to say, man, you got me sounding like Jasmine. And then I'm like, we never go. So the way we want to do it is to give you 80% of the problem, solve that, and then let you build these worksheets like Jadika trained on Monday on how she does her workflows. It ain't gonna work for everybody, but it works perfectly for Jadika. So we're really an 80% tool. And I'm okay with saying that. We're 80% tool. And it'll never be like, it's like an asymptote really quickly. And I'll share with you what I mean. We have 4 million data points in our database. It's easy to take it away from the AI. We have 4 million data points in our database. If we were 99% correct with 4 million data points, would that be really good? Like 99% of our emails are exactly where they should be. Would that be really good? That would be good, right? Everybody could agree 99% is good. That means 40,000 of them are wrong. Like the law of large numbers says that 40,000 of them are still wrong. Like 40,000, yeah, because that's 1% of 4 million. So the better we get, the bigger we are, that error mark becomes larger too. So we're fighting two different things. So we have to have a personality that's generic and trust you all to go in and do that other part. So the training, I don't really know how to solve that. They can come on, we can try to make it a little better. Our biggest solution is that in April, we will take your pitches that you sent, use that as the training model for you only. But we got to get you all pitching first. The second thing is a bit more technical to approach. One is that right now we don't open or read the emails, so we don't bring those emails in, right? Google wants us to spend a lot of money to have that feature to bring it in, right? But some of the security concerns that they have, we have, right? So we're like, all right, let's leave their personal emails over there on that side of the world. That's why we encourage people to pitch daily so that you can go in, look through and see what your, give you a quick, check this out. Watch this. Watch this. Look, I'm gonna show you a trick. In your, 1 second, Jasmine will get to you. I promise you. We have this thing here, right? And in the branding kit, we have a signature, right? If you come in here and let's say I want to edit my signature, I can come in here to my signature here, and then I may put pound $ that, right? Demo, right? Now, why do y'all think I put that at the bottom, all the way here at the bottom of my signature? Anybody want to guess why I would put something like that down at the bottom?
You know where it came from?
Huh?
Is it like a receipt?
Tell you why I put that there. Now, when
I know.
my virtual assistant logs in and she wants to see all of my pitches, all she got to do is type in $%. And this Google gonna bring up all the ones that I've gotten in my inbox that would have that in my signature when the person replied to me. Right? So her first thing every day, hop in, search $%, or whatever little code you put in there. Right? And it's gonna bring up all of those replies so that now she can go and mark them accordingly. One of the things we're working on, we will eventually have that open and read receipt thing, but it's not as big of a priority as just getting the pitches out. Does that make sense? So we're really focused on the pitching right now. But that's one way to do it. You can put a little thing in your signature so that you can search and find those. I'll give you a great way. Again, walk it how we talk it. Come over here to Gmail. I search for Liliana. Right? 1 second. Liliana at PitchDB. Why isn't it doing it? Tab. There we go. Liliana at PitchDB. And guess what it brings up? All of my podcast guest things, right? So what I used to do, I used a template at the beginning, and I would just search for Liliana podcast guest because I knew every email that went out, the subject line was the same. So I wasn't a big fan of customized subject lines at first because it made it difficult for me to find my pitches that was sent by Liliana, who's my assistant. Well, at the time she was our assistant. Now she's like our lawyer / community activist, right? But that's what we did. All the subject lines were the same. So now I can see all the replies that we got back. And that's what these are. These are all of my replies. There's our basic email. That was the reply, right? But I can search just by putting in podcast guest as my subject line. So you can standardize the subject line, which is one method, which is what we've done. Or you can put a caret in the bottom until we go through the Google thing of bringing, there they are, they're coming in, of bringing those data things in. So those are the two answers. The training is going to be necessary with or without us. And the second one is that we don't have that ability right now to bring that data in. So she has to manually go and find the replies and mark them and move them across, just like Jadika does and everyone else. Any other, Jasmine?
Just in continuation with you speaking about AI, I've been involved in an AI group for close to, over a year now. And you can literally train your, it would be very hard for SpeakerHUB to have everyone's voice in the emails. Some are sending out 700 emails a month, 600, you can't have everyone's voice. But what you do have the power of is when you get into that email, you can literally train GPT for your voice. I have even tested it since I've been on SpeakerHUB in, switching up some of the emails, put in my certification in there, and what to know, the next email that comes up shows that I'm a certified herbalist. So you can train your GPT for your voice and how you write things, and you can continue to do that. And even if you even want to train it, I sometimes just click, rewrite with AI at the bottom, and it gives me a different version of the email that's there. Mm-hmm. And so I know you cannot, say this part of it is not, I'm not satisfied with this part, because it cannot give you everything you want unless you train it. And then your assistant can come in now and easily pitch for you, because GPT knows your voice, knows how you think, knows how your acronyms and what you put in and what you don't put in. So that's something you can literally start training to do, Melissa. I found that, like in the AI group that I'm in part of, it's amazing to what you can have this. I'm in the process of creating my own GPT. You know, so it's really easy to, for what we have here, to tweak it just a little bit to give us that edge. Right.
I
So
appreciate that. I
just my
appreciate
little
that,
two
Jasmine.
cents in. Yeah. And
No,
look what
no.
in the mail today.
Oh, you got Michael Roberts' book. I'm gonna take a picture of that. Let me see that.
Yeah, let me
Put
tell
it
you
on the
something.
screen. I'm gonna send it to him. One
Yeah.
second. Spotlight for everybody. I'm gonna
Great.
send this to Mike when we get off of here. And yep, I got it. I'm gonna
Okay,
send
great. Listen,
I'm
hey,
gonna send
like
that
I said,
over to him.
started it already too.
No, it's Actioneers, man. You know,
Part of my morning readings.
So really quickly, I want to say, Brian, nice to meet you. I don't know if this is your first time with us. I think it is. Would love to have you introduce yourself so that people know who you are and how we can help you to be better at what you're doing as a speaker. Did I say your name right? Is it Sebron or Sabron Skip Page?
Sebron, yes. Thanks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So if you want to introduce yourself, let us know who you are. Welcome to the Speaker Hub co-working call. We are on here every day. Our job is to get you on more stages or to get your message out, however you see fit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we want to do.
My name is Sebron Skip Page. I'm a coach. Started off as a fitness coach. I wrote a book last year. It is we're almost ready to put it in production. I also am a metaphysical minister, and I preach human design all the time, and that's what my book is about. So I would like to be able to get on stage to espouse upon my philosophy and how I feel about fitness and how I'd like to help people raise their level of consciousness.
No, that's incredible. No, that's pretty cool. So where are you located at?
Right now, I live in Seattle.
Okay, cool. Cool. So welcome. We do this every day. We're about to go into overtime. Usually we're here every day from 12 until 1. And then we stay in what we call overtime for those who want to stick around and ask questions or have any comments or concerns about what we're doing. We want to make it easier for you to be able to get your message out, whether you're a customer of ours or not. We do prefer that you become a customer of ours, right? Because we want to help you to get on more stages using our tools. Feedback. Let me make sure everyone knows this. You should never be ashamed to give your feedback to us. Positive, negative, circular, green, orange. We need the feedback. This is how we're going to get better, right? There's some different ideas that came up today that we will be implementing. Thank you, Melissa, for some of the suggestions, because now I think we could do that word exclusion thing, and that may help out if we could leave some of those words out. But just know that in the next few months, we will be using your previously sent pitches to do that training that Jasmine was talking about, right? So I want to go back to something, though, that I think is really important. Anne brought up, oh yeah, no problem. Anne brought up that, how do you generate leads, right? So I want to do a quick exercise, and it's not to, you don't have to participate if you don't want, but I want to do a quick exercise to show you the power of a call to action, right? So I'm going to just, random folks, y'all can hop up whenever you want. And I want to know what your call to action is. So I'll show you mine, right? So if I'm on a podcast, here's what I would say. They say, well, Ron, is there anything else you want to leave with the crowd? You know how they do that at the end. Is there any final thoughts that you have? Yeah, right? So, yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed what we spoke about today. Again, my job is to always try to get more speakers on podcasts, paid speaking gigs, and press. Remember, earlier in the conversation, I mentioned that we have something called the Speaker Launch Formula. Don't forget to click in the show notes to download your version of the Speaker Launch Formula checklist that we put together. Also, follow me on LinkedIn. Come on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. I'm here to help you. You can ask me any questions. We do a daily call, but I want to make sure you get that download of the Speaker Launch Formula checklist. So check the show notes for that, or go to ronstoryjr.com/reviews. That would be my call to action. Make sense? Very clear what I want them to do. You don't want to have 14 different things. Download my book, go get this, go get one, maybe two. How they can get the resource and how they can follow you. Does that make sense? So AJ, I'm gonna call you up. You wanna show us your call to action, and you can give feedback. So there's nobody's gonna beat you up. We ain't gonna put you in a headlock, but I gotta get you guys better, right?
So this will be at the end of the podcast, correct?
Yep. So actually, let's make it easier. I'll be the interview. So AJ, thanks for coming on, man. Any final words you want to leave with the audience?
The only thing I would say is that there is profit in your knowledge, so make sure that you're making money from it. So you can follow me at AJ Vassar. All my social media is at AJ Vassar, and I have a profit from your knowledge assessment that you can take to find out if you're ready to make money from the knowledge you have. And I'll put that in the show notes for the assessment link, so you can figure out if you're ready to profit from your knowledge. And I just put it in the chat, so you can click that.
Right. So that was good, right? He told them where they can find them, but then he also gave them the resource, right? Now, that resource could be a download. It could be he brought in something we didn't use, which was an assessment, right? So he can get his review and give them the assessment or send them to the assessment, right? Anyone else want to do this? Jasmine, Ange?
No, I just wanted to give AJ one piece of feedback. If you could spell your name, because when people hear it, they may not know of Vassar's V-A-S-S-E-R. I know on a podcast they'll write it, but if they want to follow you,
gotcha,
that may be helpful.
Yep, and actually that's a good one, because one of my good friends I went to high school with, his last name is Vassar, V-A-S-S-E-R. And I remember asking AJ, I'm like, yo, you related to me? He was like, no. I'm like, I looked at the name, I'm like, oh, y'all spelled the name differently. So if you have a funny name, be sure that you spell it right. Also, but a lot of times on audio, the person will put it in the name of the podcast also, so they can verify it there. But that's really important to make sure that you're sending people to the right pages. Leroy, Jasmine, anyone else wants to kind of walk through there? Leroy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on now. So yes.
So
take it
Leroy,
away, Ron.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Any final words you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, most definitely. It was an absolute pleasure to be on the show. So what I offer is the free Team Connection checklist. And how do you get that? Just follow me on LinkedIn and check my free resources, and it's available there. Also, I will share that in the show notes so you can access that there as well. So thank you very much. Do take full advantage of that resource.
Perfect. There it is. Very simple, right? One small piece of feedback, let them know what the value of that resource is. So you told them the resource, but why should I download it? What do I get by downloading it? Always be sure to put that there. Got it?
Perfect.
Kevin,
Perfect.
Good job, Leroy. Way to go. Kevin.
Yes, thank you for calling me. And what I would like you to download a digital copy of this. This is your worksheet for the map system to success. If you download this, or you can print it out, this will help you to write in your journal and utilize your journal as the tool it was meant to be. Your survival is going to be someone else's survival guide. Thank you.
Cool. Where do I get it?
No, I forgot something.
I want it, but I don't know where to get it. Do I go to Walmart?
Thought I was good too. Kevin P. Hempstead. If you don't put P in there, there's a guy in Canada named Kevin Hempstead who will get very pissed. P will be for pissed.
Right? So yeah, you got to be sure to tell them where to go get it. I'm gonna go to Walmart and say, "Y'all got that Kevin worksheet?" They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy, right? So you got to give them the location. Is that cool? So we will share a framework with you for calls to actions, right? So number one, you have to tell them what it is. The second thing is you have to tell them why they need it. What's the value of me downloading this thing, right? If you've already mentioned it earlier, you just remind them, right? But what am I getting? Why do I need it? Where do I get it? What am I getting? Why do I need it? Where do I get it? Right? So that's the framework. What are you giving me? Why? What's the value to me? Where do I get it? Right? So, yeah, Ann, you want to go? I saw Ann put her hand up for a second.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Jasmine, did you have a comment or question about that?
No. You're going to next do
Okay.
Ann, and then you can do me.
Okay. Yep. Ann?
Yes. I talked about the books you read and that we should allow the books to read you. So my call to action is a list of books in each of the categories of your life. And you can get that list by clicking the link that we'll put in the chat. Or you can also go to my website at Ann McNeil, that's ANNMCNEILL.com.
Oh.
Cool. Now, let me tell you what I liked about what Ann did. Ann talked slow, and you can understand it. I was, hey, you got to do this. Like, I learned we talk at the speed at which we listen to things. So I listen to a lot of double speed audio books, and I played the audio in my in our team meeting today, and it was on 2 times. People were like, what is he saying? But the audio for me was normal. I'm like, this is how I listen to it all the time. You see how fast I talk versus just even explaining that versus Ann's deliberate, ANNMC. So find your cadence that works for you, right? That fits your personality and works for you. But that was just something that stood out, that she was so deliberate in making sure that we understood what she offered, what was the value to us, and where we could find it. That spelling out where we could find it, dynamite. That was incredible. Erica, and then we'll go to Jasmine.
Oh, I was going to say you go to Jasmine first.
Okay. Jasmine, thanks for coming on the show. This is a great interview. So where can people learn more about what you're doing? You're muted. Don't be muted on the podcast, okay? No, just kidding.
It's still muted.
There it is. Okay, you should be unmuted.
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jasmine, thanks for coming on the podcast. We're glad we got you back. We got your audio sounding. So how can people learn more about what you're doing?
Well, you can learn more about me by following me on LinkedIn, or you can look at the show notes before. I do have an ebook that I've written because, as you know, Ron, a lot of people dread Mondays, and there's statistics that show that they dread Mondays. So given a little ebook, you know, it's a value to you today for free. But so you can go to LinkedIn, or you can go to my to the show notes on the bottom, which I'm sure you don't mind, Ron, sharing the show notes, that get this valuable tool that will help you put a zip in your Mondays.
There you go. No, that's incredible. That was incredible. One small thing. You said, I have this little ebook. Don't diminish your stuff.
Okay.
Don't you start diminishing your stuff.
Where am I? I can't find you guys. Where am I? I'm disappeared.
Let's put you back.
I can hear you.
Now you're in the middle for everybody, right? So we can see you. We got you on the screen.
We see you. We see you.
You see me?
Yes,
we got
see you.
You're good.
I'm seeing
so,
we do.
But remember this, guys. Don't diminish what you're offering.
Okay.
If what you're offering is diminishable, don't offer it.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
This is a life-changing thing. By somebody taking your resource, they're going to be better off. So don't diminish it. Be proud of what you've built, because for somebody, it is the best thing that they've received to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I got a little ebook. You got the best ebook in the world. That's the time that Donald Trump it. You know, everything, this is magnificent. This is marvelous. This is your time. My ebook is incredible. You can do all that.
Oh, this is huge. This is huge.
That is so good.
Yeah,
Trumpet.
That was good. That was good.
That's what he does. It's huge. This is the greatest ebook ever, right? You ain't gotta like nothing else. But the dude is a great salesperson, right? So I can learn a lot from geniuses and idiots, right? So his ability to not minimize the moment is unmatched. So don't minimize your product because
Excellent.
it's going to be great. I just
Yeah.
don't have no hair.
And you know,
Right.
and you know my intention behind using that word, which I'm glad you corrected me on that. But my, it's the size of the book that is, almost like a pocketbook. I should have qualified when I said small.
Yep. So you can say it's a quick read. It's an
Yes.
easy read.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a
I like
quick
that.
read that's impactful. See,
Okay.
I'm Donald Trump in it. We got Donald Trump working on our team. His name's Miguel, and Miguel is always. It's incredible. So, but
Yeah, so
Erica,
many great ideas.
go ahead. Thanks for coming on our show, Erica. We're having a great time here. We have a live audience. Everyone who's on the show right now, we have 16 people that are live with us. Is there a resource or something you want to leave them with as we go?
Sure. And I know it's a live audience, but because I don't have it printed, I'm going to share my screen so you can see it. So, yes, thank you so much for having me today. I want to share with your audience to go to ericalshumate.com and you can take a look at my speaker media kit. I would love to come speak and work with your organizations. I'm a dynamic speaker. I am an authentic storyteller, and I know how to move people, get them inspired, and get them ready to work in whatever capacity, because as I say, I am also transformative and a huge, huge, huge policy person that spans the gamut, and a former FBI intelligence analyst leader. And I know that makes my whole lived experience different. So yeah, reach out to me today.
Cool. No, that was great. See, Erica, we were doing audios, but Erica showed us how to do it on the video. Now, why is that important? Because a lot of audio podcasts are recorded over Zoom and they're going to be used for video anyway. So you got to learn to do both. Does that make sense? So a lot of audio podcasts end up in Apple Podcasts, like the ones I showed you yesterday with Pam Perry, but they also show up on YouTube. So you can do the multimedia call to action also. I'm glad you brought that in. So that's another way. Be sure to add, if you're on a virtual call, to do the multimedia call to action to show them the resource for those who are who may be watching on YouTube, right? So you have a question, Ann?
Yes. What was her leave behind? I didn't hear that. Did I miss it?
Yep. So she gave them an invite to visit her webpage. And she gave her Erica L. Shoemate, is that right?
That's correct. Yep. And my media, download my media kit.
Yep. So it was her media kit because she wanted them to invite her to speak, right? So that was a great call to action so they could see what she does, because maybe the podcast or the interview she was on had event planners in the audience. Which brings me to another point. Your download should be specific to the audience that you're talking to.
Thank you. That's what my question was surrounding.
Right?
Yes, thank
So
you.
her audience wasn't just someone that could be her client. She was maybe on, there's a lady she interviews speakers all the time. I can't think of her name. Jeanette Austin or something like that. She's out of North Carolina. Odell has been on her podcast like 15 times, but she interviews speakers. So that would be great if she was on a speaker podcast that had event planners in the audience. Dr. Karen.
Hello.
What up?
Thank you for having me. I want to share with the audience a downloadable. You can find the link in the show notes. It is 20 additional items that you can ask for in addition to salary, as we were talking about amplifying your value. So just keep in mind that there are 20 additional things that you can negotiate, and you do not have to be at the beginning of the employment process to get those things. And so that link is in the downloadable, and you should also see the QR code if you're looking at this visually.
Incredible. No, this is a great exercise, guys. So I wanted to bring this up because we gotta do it. And if we don't, we perform how we practice. AJ played Division I football, right? They practice 2 or 3 hours a day and they may only be on the field for 15 minutes. Angela played professional basketball. They practice 2 to 3 hours a day. She may only get 10 minutes in the game. But when she's in there, she's expected to perform how she's practiced. Does that make sense? So I know we're just on here doing it with us here, but by seeing other people, I learned to talk a little slower because of Ann, right? I can slow down my cadence and not go so fast and still get my point across, right? I learned to share my screen because of Erica, right? I learned to remember to have my call to action because of Kevin, right? I learned how to put Jadika learned how to do her background screen because she asked when we did it earlier, right? So this is why we do it, because we're going to learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. We've heard that our whole lives. The only problem is that speakers, sometimes we are the only knife in our drawer. We don't hang out with other speakers a lot. We don't get around other iron that can make us sharper and make us better. That's what we're trying to provide here at Speaker Hub. Yvette, you want to go? Or do you want us to skip you? Or Sebron, if you want to go? I think you all are the last two that haven't gone. Bart also. I don't want Bart to be in a headlock now that Ohio State is going to the semifinals. You know, look at all these Ohio State. I can't call y'all out. Let me get all y'all up out of this room. So Bart, you want to go ahead and go?
No, I'm gonna be bashful. I will say that the host yesterday set it all up, and I did it because he set it up. So he kind of sent me everything that we were going to talk about, and he had it at the end. Although I was prepared to do it at that time anyway, but he actually set it up. So pretty much everything that you said there. Probably not in order of the what, why, and where, but I have these strategies. So I inserted that in there, then ended with my quote, which is no profession, level of education, ideology, or religion above reproach. There is no profile. The insider threat is closer than you think. So, it went well.
No, that's cool. But you just taught us something. You can add your signature quote, whatever your quote is, add that. Whatever you want them to, whatever your framework is, add that to your closing also. That's another option. I never thought about putting the quote in there, right? So add your quote or your framework, whatever you're known for, personalize it, but say something, right? You gotta say something. You gotta have a way for people to take the next steps with you. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if someone else is going to go. Someone else is going to go with that particular part they can, but I just wanted to share something.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember getting on here in the very beginning and, seeing the platform. And for me, all I needed was a system and a process. And I took the AI things, took several of them, developed that voice, and then I just created templates out of what the AI gave me, adding what I feel is the key things, which is, this is who I am, this is what I do. Do you need speakers? Now, it's kind of your approach, bottom line up front, but at the end of the day, either you do or you don't next. If you do, then I know we're going to do a follow-up conversation or something, but then it's next if you're not. So I'm not going to give them a whole bunch to read anyway, that you have enough to make a decision. And I know I've given enough to make a decision in 2 lines, who I am, what I do, and do you need a speaker, yes or no? And I would tell you that's reach rewards. I reach rewards for podcasts. Had one yesterday, or done one at the end of last year, one coming up next week. This works beyond belief. I got off the podcast and then got on with someone I was chasing down through email over the holidays, and didn't book 1 gig, but booked 2. And then another one. So I have like 2, I have 3 that's paid for this 3 times. And then I have one that's about 3/4 of the way booked. Now you're like,
so these are speaking gigs also.
Yeah. So the 3.
So we should raise the price.
Well, okay. Someone else. I'm lifetime, so I'm good. I'm grandfather and all that. But those messages were simple. Number one, they worked. I got on the phone with them. to the point where, and they ask you your price, you say your price, and then they go right on. I can see you can do that. Well, it's your first time seeing it. If you can see it, then that means what I've written works. So it all works. The 3/4 one, this is one that, and this is last year when they responded. Then they kind of went away for a little bit. So I thought, okay, is my price too high? What's going on? And then they came back. I was like, well, I'm kind of in a dilemma. I don't know if I want you at this event, or this event. I need to figure that out. So I did the Ron story and said, okay, let's get on the phone. I can help you with that. So I call that 3/4 of the way book, because they're like, all they're trying to wait on is which one you're going to put me in at the price that
They
I
may
asked
do
for.
all three.
And that's why I wanted to get her on the phone.
Great space
Hey,
for
I
me
can do this
in.
one, but I can probably fit one of those other ones as well. But that's what the phone calls for, and then try to negotiate that via email. But my point is, it was the simplicity that the email just said, and their response from the very beginning was, I have this event on this day. How much do you charge?
Yep. That's it.
So
here's, I want to share something with you guys that I think is really important to understand. What percentage of speakers are proactively pitching?
Probably 10%.
Right? I'm going to bring up, a great company that I think does a great job with some of this research, and they were able to do some research that we couldn't do, is called SpeakerFlow. And if you go over to SpeakerFlow, they have these reports, right? And they have like these SpeakerFlow, SpeakerFlow, state of the speaking, right? So they have these state of the speaking reports, right? The 2024 one isn't out, but the 2023 one is here, right? So let me see if I can bring this up here, right? And they actually have it on their webpage too. So I want to bring up the actual PDF version of it. Where's the one that is the 23 report? Let's see, maybe it's at the bottom. But they used to have this, they had a more recent one, and maybe it's the resource library and quarterly, how to get gigs. But I want to bring up their recent thing, like it's like the state of the speaking bureau, speaking industry 2023 report. And where is
Hey, Ron, I just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, you got it in the chat? Thank you.
Is that the?
Thanks for saying.
It's the
This
one
is
you.
why Ange is amazing, right? Oh, so that's just the survey for 2024, but they haven't put the report out yet.
Because you put it in our marketing chat. So
Yeah. I want to bring up the report here. Hopefully they put it on YouTube on here, so they should have put a link to it where you could download it from their page. Where is the actual report? But what they talk about is how many people are doing outbound. Here it is right here. Right? 83% of people rely only on referrals. 68% rely on spinoffs. I got one gig and spun into another. 36% are relying on social media. Right? Here it is. This is it. And let's put my information in here because they already have it anyway. And all right. But what we found is that it was less than 15% were doing outreach. Right? So we think sometimes that we're competing with, oh man, well, everybody's pitching. Man, that's the only pitch they got this week. I'm saying, it's like, hey, this requires courage, right? And most people are not sending the pitches to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let me see, SpeakerFlow. I got it. I'm gonna bring it up here so we can see it. Right? Most people ain't sending these pitches. They are not doing any of it. Here it is right here. I got the 2024 one. Right? Let me share my screen. SpeakerFlow, thank you all for putting together these dope reports. But they do a good job of explaining how people are getting booked. Right? Biggest need right now, 53% is trying to make more money, right? 13% of their biggest concern is just keeping the business where they are, not going down, right? But let's go to the sales part. Let's see. What's their source of getting booked? Here we go. All right. So, which marketing channel do you use the most to acquire new clients and engage your audience? Social media, email marketing. I guess this is more for sales, not about gigs. Let me see. Where's the, thanks for being patient with me, guys. I just want to be able to get you the right stuff. All right. So most of the people are only offering keynotes. You see that? A third of them don't even have courses or produce content, right? That's a big deal. Average revenue for a solo speaker is $83,000. That's for everything that they're doing, right? And that's including their job. Now, this is only looking at their, if you got 16 members, then now you're doing that in revenue. But guess what? You got to pay 6 people out of this 600,000. 6 people in the US is $50,000 a person plus benefits. Yeah, you may be making 100 grand yourself. And here they got to pay 2 to 5 people out of this 220,000. So I'm just saying, like, the revenue numbers are real. I want to show how people are getting these gigs, though. Maybe they didn't show it this year, but in a previous report, they talked about how do you what percentage of people are doing outbound, and I thought that was incredible. Let's see, maybe it's this one. Does this make sense? Is this helpful? 1 second. Coaching fees. I know I'm wasting a bunch of y'all time, but just bear with me. I promise you it's worth it. It's revenue. What is the, okay, that's CRM. Maybe it ain't in here. But it was 14%. I still remember it because I go through their things and I'm like, okay, what are the trends? MCs. But everybody's looking for keynotes. That was one of the biggest standouts. All right. Well, when I find it, I'll let you know. All right. I'll send it to you guys. But I was super duper duper. Oh, here it is here. Right. Look at this. What are your sources of new speaking gigs? 83% referrals, 68% spinoff gigs, 36% from social media, including LinkedIn.
We're still seeing the same screen.
Yeah, where are you?
Oh, my bad. Cool. Can you see it now?
Nope.
There it
Okay,
is.
down. Yeah. Where we go?
Right? 27% from organic search, 23% from them Google prospecting and making spreadsheets themselves. I'll share this with you guys, right? 20% from partnerships, 9% from business directories, 8% is databases. This is us, meaning that they bought a database and they bought a data set and they're pitching on their own. So there's not a lot of people doing what we're doing. So you don't have to worry about, well, everybody's saying this. No, they ain't getting, everybody ain't emailing that event. We got 45,000 conferences. You sent 300 pitches. Come on. So it's like Bart, just get to the point, ask the person, hey, are you looking for speakers? Right? That's really, really, really important. Make sense? So here it is, top lead sources right now. It ain't a lot of people doing outreach. That's why we have an advantage. While they filling out the application, you meet with the person. It's just the way it goes. So I know we're a little bit over, guys. Any other questions? I can share these reports with you. I will put There should have been a link to them on the Speaker Flow page, but you can just Google those.
I put them in the chat, Ron. They're in the chat.
Perfect. Any other questions? We got to have our calls to actions. High five to Bart for booking 4 or 5 gigs. He's only been with us since November. That's in 3 months. Bart, when are those events? Are they next week or are they 3-4 months out?
Summer and beyond. So the first one is third week in July, and the next one is like in I want to say November, December.
Yep.
And one of them, the one that's the three quarters the way there is in May. Well, this is one is because they haven't made up their mind yet. But everything's in the future for the most part. So, and I still have maybe like 9 submissions to submit as well.
So this is lining up what we talk about of why we got to use the flywheel. Because while he's waiting until July, he has to go do some things to keep sharp up until then with the small association gigs, the podcast interviews. That keeps him going and keeps the brand building as he's moving into those. But he still has to pitch more conferences because after these are over, he's going to need some the next month. He's going to need July, August. So that machine never stops. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments as we close out for the day? Erica, any responses? I saw you were pump faking your hand up. So
I'm raising it. I mentioned when I first got on the call about the pitching part for like conferences and events. I'm struggling inside of the platform on how to do it, and I even looked at the videos, but it was the ones I saw was like on podcasting, and I'm not focused on it right now.
Yep. So go ahead and share your screen with us. Let's walk through it.
Okay. I was like, hold on, over here multitasking.
Huh?
I was multitasking. Hold on.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, just open up another browser. We're a doing company. We're gonna show you from inside your thing.
Okay. Let me go.
And then Leroy, we'll get to your question also.
Okay.
Or Leroy, did you have a comment or something while she's bringing up to share her screen?
Just a quick one. Well, first of all, again, today is amazing. I'm learning so much. One of the things that I've been working on since we last spoke was fine-tuning the framework, and I've had the opportunity to do a few podcasts where I realized that it's very, very impactful and to have that in place. So wherever possible, I would like to have a chat with you again regarding that. I have done some tweaking from our last discussion, and I think it would be really, really good if I can show you what I've been up to, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We can get you figured out with that with no question at all, right? So, Erica, I see the issue already. Why you don't have podcasts? I mean, why you don't have conferences, right?
Okay.
So click on your name over on the right. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Click there. Yep. And then go to settings.
Okay. Okay.
And then go to plans.
Oh, okay. I think. Okay. I
middle?
have emergency. Hold on. I'm losing my mind.
Yep. So in the middle next
Oh,
to
I see it
billing,
now. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And scroll down a bit.
Okay.
Right. So you're on the emerging plan.
Okay.
Right. So you see the
Got
description
it.
there. It says ideal for speakers building momentum by
small gig.
getting booked on small gigs, which are associations and podcasts.
Okay. Got it.
Right?
So I just need to upgrade. Okay.
Yep. So what a lot of people have done, like Bart and several other people that are on the call, Kevin, they have a lifetime plan with us.
Oh.
Right? So the lifetime plan that we made available for Black Friday allowed them to pay once, either in a lump sum or do a payment plan, and have access to us forever. Kevin signed up with us in March of 2022. Every month he gets new pitches. They roll over, even if he doesn't use them, or if he uses them all, they roll over every month since 2022. He's gotten pitches from us. He was one of that was kind of the middle of the road when we were 2 years in, 3 years in, and he bought a lifetime plan then. And he's still coming to the meetings, still pitching, still have
I'm about
access
to start using them all. I'm about to start using them all.
Yeah, right. But he's had access forever. AJ has been a lifetime member with us since April of 2020 for 5 years now, right? He hasn't lost any access. I tell everyone, when you're a lifetime member, you get access to us forever, right? And you keep getting pitches, all the new features, you get all of them, right? The way that the lifetime plan works is that it allows you to pay once, or we'll even finance it. We have a bank that'll finance it, that'll allow you to make monthly payments. The payment is equal to 1 year, right? It's about 1 year to get access for life. And the monthly payments are actually cheaper than the financing payments are actually cheaper than the monthly payments. Does that make sense? So here's the gist. We always tell people, get a life. This is why Bart mentioned this. He said, the 3 gigs I got already paid for this 3 times over. The promise that I made Bart in October was, Bart, get it, use it, get it. 1 speaking gig is paid for. Now you stuck with us for life and it's free. He's already paid for 3 gigs. So he could buy 3 more accounts, but he don't need to because he already has the one that's paid for it. Now, this is just the beginning. He's only 2 months in. So this is our promise. You buy the plan, you use it for a year. If it doesn't work, I will give you a refund plus $1,000 because I know that it works as long as you work, right? So I'll have Ange privately send you the private Black Friday deal we took down, but we make it available. If someone hops on the call, we'll send them the link. If anyone else wants that, just Ange, if you want to put that link in the chat, I know it's not going to show up on the video, but if you put that link in the chat, just in case if anyone else that's here wants to get a lifetime plan, they can. But Bart is living proof that if you do the work, in which he silently just does the work every day. He don't have a lot to say, but when he says something, it's usually about a result that he's got.
Profound. But don't say a lot of action.
Look, he's getting the results, man. It's hard to argue with the folks that are getting the results. So, Erica, that's the reason why you don't see conferences, right?
Thank you.
How long have you been a SpeakerHUB Pro user?
Oh my gosh, just in the last couple months. Like I wasn't sure about it, so that's why I jumped on the call today too.
Yeah. But so, that's the thing. So if you end up going to a lifetime plan, we will give you a refund of the last month of payment, right? So if you already paid the $200 for this month or whatever, it'll be $200 less.
Yeah, I got you.
Got it? So any other questions, guys?
I have a question. Erica, how did you find out about the call today?
So I guess I signed up in the past and I was going through my emails because I am, of course, on my planning for 2025. And I was like, oh, I've been wanting to join one of these calls. And so I just kind of stopped what I was doing. My ADHD allowed me to come over here today. So that's how I got it. It was an email, the auto emails that Ron sends out saying these are Monday through Friday. It was from December.
Right. Okay, we're always we always want to know how people got here, so that
and then I was like noon. I love it.
That makes us happy.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. So we're going to be adding a second call because noon here is I think like 7 p.m. where Leroy is in Europe. And in Australia and other countries, 60% of our customers are not in the U.S. So we have to add a secondary call that they can hop on. That's at a time that allows everyone to participate. So that's why we record these now. And then, we're working on a cool surprise to add more experience and more, not just from my point of view, right? It's okay to hear the booking agent guy who's done all this. In our meeting today, I said, well, we need someone that they aspire to be. So you need inspiration. So we got to bring someone who's a speaker that we know when you see the stages that they've been on, you're like, okay, I hear what he's saying from an inspirational point of view. I'm more perspiration. I'm just going to tell you to work more, right? So we got to get the inspiration to balance out the perspiration. And I think that keeps things going. So you're inspired to keep doing the work. So we're going to be bringing in a co-host in the next couple of weeks that has been on a lot of stages, that has all of the credentials that everyone respects. But at the same time, I'm gonna still be here like, hey, just do the work. I know what he said. I know what she said, but just get your butt to work. And that's what ends up paying off. So high five to Bart for doing the work on a daily basis. AJ, same thing on your side. AJ is doing some cool things. Kevin, glad to hear you got a new form of inspiration and you're going to be using more of your pitches. That's always a big thing. And Erica, thanks for taking the first steps. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Yvette,
this is good. This is good. I mean,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say the coming in, even though I came in a little bit late, about how like the follow up, because I'm actually speaking at the end of the month on AI for everyone, and that'll be great. Then I have two more for Q1. I have at least two more speaking gigs, so this is great to get me like the back end stuff that I need to do.
Yep. So one of the things you want to also do is after you finish a gig, right? Don't be afraid to give feedback to the event organizer, ask for a closing meeting. And in that closing meeting, show them your dream list of conferences that are similar to theirs. Say, hey, I've been wanting to speak at these conferences also. Do you happen to know anyone? I'm going to be reaching out to them. Do you happen to know anyone at those conferences or at these organizations, right? It's a lot easier than saying, hey, what other conferences should I be speaking at? They're not thinking that. But if you give them a prompt list, they'll look at your list and they'll say, oh, you should reach out to such and such them too. Because it's automatically prompting them to think to get you booked. So we want to be able to get you the first stage, but teach you how to turn that into 3, 4, 5 more stages. Is that clear?
Nope. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else as we're closing out for the day? This has been good. 2 hours almost today. We do this every day. We got to get you all booked more. We got to get more people on stage. Yeah, this is what this is about. This is about getting results. This is the we call it counterintelligence. There's enough ignorance in the world. We have to counter that with our intelligent minds and getting on stage to combat that ignorance. So